I have been reading and watching the To All the Boys trilogy to prepare myself for watching XO Kitty. And last night I watched the third and final movie, Always and Forever Lara Jean, and we have a lot to talk about, so let's jump in. Considering the family Korea trip is at the very end of the book, I was very surprised to see the movie start with it. But I'm glad it did because it meant we actually got to enjoy some of it. There's some really beautiful family moments here, but my favorite part of the Korea trip was Kitty meeting a boy, and that continued to be one of my favorite aspects of the movie. It's really interesting to see how this movie has reinterpreted a lot of the emotional beats from the book. Most for the better, but some for the worse. Like Dr. Covey and Trina's proposal, way better in the book. But on the other hand, we got a ton of Genevieve in the movie, which we really didn't get in the book, and I love how they used her in the film. I'm not really sure why the movies take place in Oregon while the books take place in Virginia, but it becomes quite important because the colleges that Lara Jean is choosing between are different in the movie and the book. And the geographic distance between these schools is much larger in the movie than it is in the book. In the book, she ends up going to UNC, which is only about a 3-hour drive from his school. That ends up making the tension of their looming long-distance relationship much more intense in the film. Speaking of geography, the movie actually takes that New York trip and sort of wraps a whole bunch of trips from the book into it. We've got moments from the New York trip, the UNC trip, and the beach trip all wrapped into one. And honestly, I think this makes the movie work better from a pacing perspective. I also think the movie does a better job of just the whole Peter's dad storyline. I think it ultimately has a better conclusion, and it also does a better job of just setting up the ending for Lara Jean and Peter. I also just think as a child of a father who left when I was 7, I just really connected to that storyline, which might be why it stood out so much to me. There are so many great celebratory moments in this movie. I loved seeing them go to prom, it was so fun, but I also really loved the wedding. And throughout the whole movie, it just feels like all of the cast is having so much fun. There are 3 things that the movie did not give us that I was kind of sad about. I wish we got to see Margot's boyfriend. He's not really that relevant to the plot, but still. I do think Stormy's passing was a really beautiful moment from the book, and as sad as it is, I do wish it was included in the movie. Last but not least, Lara Jean's after prom birthday party. Not only was that scene not in the movie, but they ended up replacing it with their breakup. Rude. But since we're talking about the breakup, I just want to mention that Lana Condor's acting during that scene was just incredible. That scene basically started me crying, and then I didn't stop until the movie was over. The ending of this movie, though, is just absolutely beautiful. Peter showing up after the wedding, the yearbook, Kitty sending Lara Jean out there, just was all so good. I really can't choose between the book and the movie. I don't know which is better. They're honestly kind of tied for me. I mean, if I had to choose, you know what? No, I don't have to choose. I like both, and that's okay. And with a nice little bow on that, we have finished the trilogy, which means I finally get to watch XO Kitty, which was the whole reason I started reading these in the first place. I will say when I started this little project, I didn't think I would find a new trilogy that I absolutely adored. That was just a nice added benefit. I am planning to react to XO Kitty episode by episode. If you've seen my One Piece reactions, I'm planning to do these the same way. I've really enjoyed doing this series with all of you, so I am on the lookout for another book series to film that I can read and react to with all of you. A lot of you have mentioned The Summer I Turned Pretty. I did order the books, but I'd also be open to taking a little Jenny Han break to do something in the sci-fi or fantasy realm first, so feel free to let me know your suggestions. And in the meantime, I'll see you all back here for episode 1 of XO Kitty. Oh my god, is it about her relationship with Jay? I just realized that might be part of the story.